right, thanks for joining us. It's still Good Morning, Anambra, and this morning we want to look at curbing domestic violence. Welcome again. I am David Opopasele.
My name is Sichoma Uche. A very good morning to you and welcome.
All right, this morning we're looking at this very important societal menace or issue in our society, domestic violence. Several people believe it should be a family discussion, that's something that we shouldn't be engaged in, something that we shouldn't pop nose into. But we discover that over time this has become a very interesting topic or challenge to different families, and that it goes on to affect the society in general. And that's why we want to look at this very important topic this morning. And joining us is Mrs. Phoebe Achunike, a civil society activist. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
I also have Rotarian Kanayo Obidibo, public affairs analyst, also joining us on the show this morning. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's begin with finding out what this domestic violence is. There have been different definitions offered in different quarters. Some people will want to say, this is where it ends. This is what it is. To you, what is domestic violence?
Yeah. Domestic violence, to me, doesn't just include hitting.
Okay.
Not necessarily until you hit somebody before you have become guilty of such an offense. There are times your words, verbal words, the things you say to your partner. Probably somebody have a deficiency in some part of his life, or maybe like a woman not being able to make money, get a job, and every day you keep telling her you are a useless woman, or you are killing that woman. That is also a form of abuse. And going to the man, maybe the man has a problem with infertility, and you all know that the problem comes from the man. And you keep telling the man, you are useless, and you cannot father a child. That is also a form of domestic violence, because when you affect somebody psychologically, you are making that person. That's why you see issues of suicide. Somebody you keep telling over and over again, you are worthless, you are useless, might end up doing something. Not necessarily until you have to beat the person before you have killed that person. That's my own view about it.
And as we come to you now, Comrade Kanayo, apart from what she has said, how exactly do we define domestic violence? Does correcting a child with a cane or a spank at the back amount to domestic violence?
Just like she said, domestic violence is multidimensional in the sense that she has just, made mention of misunderstanding in the family, and you keep hammering on it on daily basis. At the same time, when we talk about domestic violence, we talk about not only the physical abuse, like she said. There are some aspect of the psychological warfare that goes with it, within the family, or within neighbors, or or within your words. Like you have a child that is a house help, and you keep, putting her down by word of mouth, trying to make her to lose self-esteem, of whom she would have supposed to be if she was handled better. So domestic violence, in actual fact, is not encouraged in any society. It doesn't. Nobody encourages that, and not only that, it is against the law for you to take up issues, more especially when it becomes a family matter, and then a husband starts to batter the wife, or we cannot actually spare the rod to spoil the child, but to an extent, you have to, attach some human feelings to that.
Okay, attach human feelings to that. You just mentioned the issue of culture, that no society supports it. I can't remember the way that saying is used in Igbo language, but on can the madu say again na ukwu okwu kita asige no na adekwa no mma no kata teacher nwanyi ife ka onwe respect. Yes, is in quotes, as Igbo people we don't support, but those kind of ideologies also in one word or the other encourage these things. So what are the cultural norms? What are the cultural values that we promote that in one way or the other encourage men to beat their wives, or the women also to do that?
You see, we are not retrogressing. Okay. The world is dynamic. There are supposed to be changes. People are supposed to adopt new rules of family life, which is civil. A situation where should not arise anymore. Women have come up.
Most people still hold that perception.
That is a cake.
Exactly. People that are in Stone Age. Yes, because before now, sorry, I'm cutting you short.
Go ahead.
Before now, we're meant to understand that women are your property. Obiageli, Odoziaka.
Do you think that mindset has changed?
It's progressing. We are gradually leaving that place.
Okay.
Yes, so not just that. Not everybody has come to terms with things are no longer as it used to be in the beginning.
Living that place, but violence is on the increase, domestic violence.
Yes.
And concerning husband and wife, Kanayo, I have heard some school of thought say that some women enjoy being touched by their husband.
Yes, exactly.
That it kind of makes them feel that I'm living in a house with a man. And it kind of promotes respect, not just respect, even love, as they say it. Because it's maybe one piece of abada or that kind of a thing. Or change
even our regular book, the book we all believe in, the Bible, has introduced the man as the head of the family and asked for a woman to respect the wife and husband to respect. If there is that reciprocity of respect, I don't see why a man should actually, torture the wife and goes back to kneel down. Nwunye emejọ die oje goto work goto to oje ku onye akwanya o ka na ekwe nku mmadụ ka akwa.
Does that.
Okay, let's now look at how this thing starts. When you see two lovebirds celebrating their love, you become so enchanted with that relationship, and then in a little while you begin to see these people that were celebrated in the past for the love they have, seeing this kind of violence come up. What are the things that lead to violence?
Okay, now let me say this. Two lovebirds. When you started, you were infatuated. The feelings was all you were seeing was the love you had for this person. Coming to live in the same house under the same roof with somebody. Certainly, there are things you didn't see before now. Now you have started seeing them. Coupled with pressure, we must all go through one pressure at one point of our life or the other. So most men vent their angers to the next person. So when you are panazia, do you understand?
Saying that old wine gets better, wine gets better as it gets old. The wine, when you see wine that are brewed or distilled like in 18 something.
The wine?
No.
That's supposed to get better as you grow older.
Yes, there should be. Of course. When you have lived with a woman for over a time, you should have actually developed a shock absorber of those things she used to do when she was much younger. And then you are getting matured. You are not going to see things.
Say that a woman should respect her husband.
Yes.
So if peradventure she does not respect you, wouldn't that amount to you hitting her?
No. That is where the man in you comes up. The man in you is to restrain yourself. If you are actually groomed as a man, and you are, I'm not talking about our old grandfathers and their fathers who actually did not go to school, who didn't see. Beside, these days, men and women live in 4-bedroom apartments. In the old good days, my grandfather used to live in Obu, and the women live na Munazono. And he summons whoever he wants to talk to. But these days, yes,
the truth remains with time that circumstances, love is not just a feeling. Marriage is not a feeling, it's a commitment. No matter how you love a man, no matter how you love a woman, there are times that you get to be like, man, I'm tired. I've heard it up here. It's not just marriage. You go out, you meet people, challenges in your jobs, challenges in your career. You face all manner of things. Then you come home. So most time, if you're not able to manage who is tense at this point, the next thing is to vent it on the closest person. That's actually what causes.
Not just husband or wife, but I know that Kanayo, apart from excessive anger and perhaps an unstable mind, you understand? Because that's what in most cases, that's where we'll have people committing this kind of violence on others. Right. You know. So what other thing do you think could cause domestic violence?
Well, you see, I have always looked at a man by his character, his mien, what I mean character, to absorb. You must tolerate. There should be tolerance. And above all, we are not created equal. Maybe the IQ of a man is far better than a woman, or sometimes the woman, her IQ is, super. The woman should know that carrying the man along with his or her inadequacies both ways, they should complement. They should complement. And at the same time, a man should take more of the shocks and restrain yourself, because if you batter a woman, you are seen in the first instance as the culprit. The woman, I have a friend, I don't want to mention names, the woman slapped the husband, but the son was sitting down there in a house. Yes. No. The
woman that is battering the man,
yes,
but then the percentage is very minute.
They see, when the husband took up the phone, that was in the U.S., to call up the cops, and the woman was shouting. The son said, "Mom, when police come, I will tell them that you hit my dad first." And that has stopped that violence in that house. That boy is about 32 years old. This happened when the boy was like 21. So I said, "Mom, I'm going to tell the police the truth, because my dad didn't touch you." Usually, when a man beat up a woman in America, obviously you are at wrong, whether you like it or not. Or when the woman beats you, it is her words against your word, and then you must move out. So in a developed climate, in a society where there's rule of law, yes. This is you can see that you don't do that to a woman. Even you are little children. You don't use the cane. There are things you do. Your younger ones at home, and tell them if it is a bike he used to ride, you seize the bike and keep it for 1 week, and he will feel it. If it's some video they are watching, you say no more. You don't hit. There are measures you come up with that will correct them.
Now, when you look at the issues between the domestic violence between couples, what are the flag points? Are there things you look out for and you see that this person has a tendency of becoming violent tomorrow? Is there something you see in a relationship that will tell you this person has the tendency of getting violent tomorrow?
Somebody that cannot control his emotions. That guy or that woman is a time bomb. No matter what happens, people will provoke you. No matter how close the tongue and the teeth are. Certainly one time, the teeth is going to bite the tongue. Okay. So if you're not able to control your temper, no matter what the woman does to you, and you control, forget it. Only men are I will hit you. Run for your life. If you're in a relationship, run for your life, because I always tell people it's better to have a broken relationship than to have a broken marriage. If you see such tendencies that this man cannot hold himself restrained, no matter the provocation, my dear, that is a pointer that when you become too close, now the love is still shaking him. When the love starts fading, my dear, so let's avoid it from the
than a broken marriage. Yeah. So what if the man starts hitting you while you are married?
While you're married? If the man starts hitting you, are you trying to say you didn't see such tendencies?
Well, we have established from you, the guest this morning, that there are Certain things you may not actually notice about your spouse as you are cutting yourselves into pieces until you got
Start
married.
living in the same house.
You got married, and then you start discovering those things. Perhaps that's why Ndibo said, "Na marriage is only when you open it when you get home. Whatever you see, what you see is what you
Thing
get."
is this, a situation where the marriage or relationship was very rosy at the instance, and things started to, deteriorate, like financial problems. And a man who cannot hold himself under certain level of where he cannot put food on the table, and women, whether we like it or not, women are women. They are very, very vocal. They can come up with any kind of abuse. They still want to say, "Oh, darling, I apologize." However, men, there are men who have that heart of not that forgiving spirit that that ego in us sometimes makes this violence to be carried too far. However, it should be encouraged. And I'm also thinking that we should be having a very serious legislation on how not to, encourage violence at homes, and make sure that.
Hold your thoughts on the solutions and how we're going to deal with it. We'll go to the streets to get reactions from people on this topic of curbing domestic violence. Maybe the issues they'll be raising will also form an anchor point for when we come back to look at the solutions. Stay with us.
Men beating up their wives, women beating up their house girls, house boys, and all the rest of them. It's very, very bad. And I believe the effect it has is that it puts some danger into the society, because the woman, after beating her for several times, might end up putting up a divorce to the husband, or might end up going out looking for another man that will make her feel like a woman. And look at these children. They are being exposed to evil things in the society. I believe the government has to put hand on this, particularly the civil, human rights activists. They need to do something about these things to stop it. At least if any woman should beat a house girl or a house boy in a way that is not suitable, that person should go to jail. If a man who went to the wife's place, paid the bride price, carried the woman to his house, and then used the man as a punching bag, that such a man should be questioned and be, if possible, go to jail.
Parents should stop giving their children out to be helps. As a parent, one wouldn't want his or her child to serve someone else. Now, when you give your child to serve someone else, you are exposing that child to a couple of things. Firstly, his or her madam would take advantage. First of all, it's not her child. So the kind of love he or she would show the child is not the kind of love he would show his or her own children. And you also expose them to sexual harassment, undue sexual harassment. I would advise, what leads to giving out children is poverty. Now, if you know you cannot train a child, don't bring that child into the world.
Discussing violence against women and also girls, I tell you honestly, it's almost sounding like a broken record in Nigeria and in our society, because there's seemingly, nothing seems to be done about it. What can we realistically do to curb violence against women? First and foremost, what is the root cause? Women, are you responsible for this violence that is meted against you? If you are, then walk around it. 2, also know that you do not rob Peter to pay Paul. If you have a victim, what you can do is to lend out a hand. Because people who live in glass houses do not throw stones. If you keep quiet, it might come around you. So the best thing you can do is to help a victim of violence. Another is get our women educated, get them to speak out.
Okay, mwa madu moro no ya azu. Okay, mwa ya ebute mmadụ ikpọpụ nwa ya gbojebe mmadụ. Ụfọdụ ejikwa nwa agba mgbere. Ịchọzikwa ịma onye ikpọpụrụ nwa gị, kedu onye ọ bụ? Ọ nwanne gị.
It has generated so much hatred, so much bitterness,
so much misplaced aggression here and there, and people are no more, eager to do things the right way. It is as a result of domestic violence. And my dear, the only solution is Christ.
Welcome back. If you heard what is happening here, this argument is something that continues to generate different angles, especially in a situation like this. Before we went on that break, Comrade Obidibo was raising issues about the law. But you know that what the law begins to look at is something that is reported. And most times we don't report it because of our culture, especially on the side of the man. A man will tell you, "Okasi na nwunye m na-etimi ihe." I don't know. How do we encourage people to begin to speak out when such violence begins to happen? Let me start with here.
Okay, good. The truth remains, if you if you don't speak out, we might not know what is going on. But we have this thing about they will tell you everybody wants to cover and sit down on their own issues. Nobody wants to speak up. I'm not saying you should come to the compound and start shouting or you go to the street. Most chances are the people that killed their wives. It didn't start that day. It's something that started over time. But because the woman didn't speak up, I had a case of somebody that the man beat the woman the first time, the second time. By the third time, she raised alarm. She went to the civil society. She called the parents. She called her own parents. The matter went out of hand. And I can tell you, that was the end of that. So because the woman spoke up and people started threatening the guy, the man restrained himself. Are you trying to tell me that the woman has not provoked the guy again? But because, oh my God, now there are people that are holding him accountable. Yes. Exactly.
Let's quickly look at other forms of violence that we experience at home. Like, I know that some fathers abuse their daughters sexually. Okay? That's another form of violence that we experience in homes now. And then even brothers and siblings. Okay? So many of them. How do we start tackling that form of violence? That one is against women anyway, but I'm not a feminist, but we're trying to look at everything in totality.
The point remains that when I say talk about consequences, I talk about law. Any violence done by a man or a woman has a consequence, no matter how little you think the violence is, because there's a law that protects us as citizens of this country. Why can't this country come up with a serious law enforcement? Because it is there, but it's not been enforced. Otherwise, at home, when the violence is going on in your neighbor around you, it is not you. Probably will pick up the phone and call. People should be able to report the matter that I've always had noise in this house. Please, police, find out what is going on there. Because in most cases...
How will the police handle a case that is not reported like Phoebe
No.
I mentioned something that I wanted to
that is
look
where
at
I'm saying about our law.
Violence against women in the home.
Yes.
Like you have heard that, some fathers violating their daughters.
Yes.
And that's what I say. How do you want us to handle that one?
You see,
do you expect the daughter to report the father or the wife?
I came back about 10 days ago from US. That's a case in point. There's a little girl at home of about 15 years old, went to school and reported that she was sexually harassed by the stepfather. And the police took it up. You see, she didn't report to her grandmother. She didn't report to the mother, but she went to school. And
sure she did it and decided to keep it at home?
No, but I'm just telling you that police took it up and went in to investigate it. Yes.
But in places where the neighbor reports and the police comes into the family and the wife says, this is not happening. Maybe because of fear that if this case gets to court, he might lose, or he or she might lose the guardians of that dad for the children.
No, but the point remains that when police comes in a matter that was reported or 911 was called, I bet you that family is under watch. It's endorsed. Yes.
And it will lead to stigmatization at
Yes,
the house.
that's right.
Scandal. You may want to come in
our
there,
cultural
Phoebe.
space.
Yes.
I tell parents, start educating your children on sex. Tell them, don't let anybody touch your bum bum. If anybody touch your bum bum, shout. By the time you start inculcating that into children, especially the girls at 3, 4, 5, they grow with it. You see them become a lot. There won't be cases of you abuse a child sexually and the child will just keep quiet. If you have instilled that thing into that child, don't let anybody touch your bum bum. That child is automatically conscious and alert, waiting for anybody. You might tell him, don't tell. But when you come home as a mother, you'll be like, I do this to my children. Who touched your bum bum today? It's like, nobody touched my bum bum. Now, I've had cases that when somebody said, Mommy, somebody wanted to touch my bum bum in school today, and I shouted. My daughter, she's just 5. Now, tomorrow, nobody's going to come and touch that girl, and she will not tell me, because I have built that, tell me, shout.
Phoebe, as a mother, if your husband abuses your daughter, and she tells you, will you report it?
I will report. I will take it up. I will not condone that man.
Good.
This is my opinion.
Okay.
All right. Well, how do we deal? Let's now look at this before we go. We've spent most time. In 30 seconds, how do we deal with stigma that comes when you report and people feel like, oh, so
Actually, people will always talk. Say Konya came with a solution. That's my point.
Okay.
Say Konya. Yes. After you're in the next one highest, Konya 2-3 months. Nobody will meet you on the road to take you first.
So if a situation like that, like if there's a matter and nobody wants actually to discuss it, it then repeats. And then what we are discussing now continues to thrive in our society. So, but Aboezio Wilemba, Omegini, Uchie.
I like that word. All right, that's how far we run on Good Morning Anambra this morning, looking at curbing domestic violence in the society. And Mrs. Phoebe Achunike, a civil society activist and mother, joined us on the show this morning.
Thank you very much. My privilege.
Yeah. And also Rotarian Kana Ayobidibo, public affairs analyst. Also a father, right?
I look like one.
You know, we introduce her as a mother. We should also, before we be accused of being just biased.
I would have raised my voice, but I just kept quiet anyway.
All right, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Tomorrow is another day. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. I am David Obokwasele.
Okay, my name is Sijoma Uche. Well, thank you very much, and we ask you to please stay out of violence, especially domestic violence. Good morning.